If I told you a 2-second mirror test could tell you whether your haircut is making you look older, would you try it? Lift your crown with your fingertips. If your face suddenly looks brighter, your cut is quietly costing you years. It's one of the simplest ways to see whether your shape is helping or holding you back. And for women over 60, where fine hair, thinning, or loss of natural lift is common, the difference can be dramatic. Right now, bobs in all their forms, French, side part, softly layered, are leading 2025's trend boards. Modern shags still have their moment too. But the real magic isn't in following a trend. It's in knowing where the line of the cut falls. Chin, cheekbone, or just grazing the shoulder, these magic zones guide the eye upward and give your face that subtle, youthful lift without trying to look 25 again. These aren't fussy, high-maintenance styles. The right cut will settle into place while you're living your life. Coffee dates, errands, dinners, with no blow-dry marathons. And they work beautifully with silver blended gray, or your natural shade. Helen Mirren's sleek silver bob, Jamie Lee Curtis's confident pixie, Andy McDowell's textured waves, they all prove lift and softness are ageless. So today, I'll walk you through 5 haircuts, each with the exact words to use in your salon chair, so you can walk out looking fresher, brighter, and yes, younger. Stay with me until the end for a color pairing that flatters every one of these cuts, especially under warm indoor light. Let's start with a shape that can lift your crown instantly, without taking away a single inch you don't want to lose. If your strands are fine or thinning, you've probably noticed a blunt cut at one length looks fresh for an hour. Then, by midday, it starts to collapse. That's because there's nothing in the cut to support lift at the roots. And here's the quiet side effect. When the crown goes flat, attention drifts to the lower third of the face, exactly where most of us don't want it. Here's the easy fix I've seen work over and over. Soft crown layering with a light side fringe. Those little layers are like scaffolding for your hair. They keep volume at the crown without taking away precious density. Think of it as a hidden frame that holds shape after the blow-dry is long over. And the fringe? It brushes just lightly over the brow, drawing the eye upward and softening the forehead. If we keep the length right at the chin, it creates a natural upward focus, almost like an invisible arrow toward your eyes. For women who wear glasses, this does wonders. It clears the frame lines and lets your frames feel like part of the look, not something cutting across your face. In one online beauty forum, a woman asked, "What styles help lift my face?" The overwhelming answer? Chin-length bobs. And not just from stylists. Women sharing their own before and afters swore it made them look brighter, more awake. One even joked she retired her confidence lipstick because the cut did the heavy lifting. So if you're ready to try it this week, here's what to say in the salon. I'd like chin-length layers with a feathery crown and keep the ends light enough to move when I turn my head. Then at home, a quick round brush lift at the crown while blow-drying will give you that fresh out of the chair bounce every day. Don't stop at a bob. The kind of bob is everything. The next one builds lift into the outline and quietly sculpts your cheekbones. If you've ever tried a bob and felt it just wasn't flattering, the problem may not have been the bob. It might have been the weight at the ends. Many chin-length cuts are left too heavy, and that extra bulk has a way of pulling your whole face downward. It's like a necklace that's stunning but sits too low. The line stops the eye instead of guiding it. Now, the French bob, done right, is the complete opposite. Its ends curve gently inward, creating a soft cup around the jawline. That inward line behaves like a soft reflector. Light moves toward your smile without overwhelming your features. There's a subtle texture that keeps it from looking helmet-like, and that curve gives a natural lift from below, as if your cheekbones are being quietly supported. Picture this: a quiet Paris street, you in a soft sweater, the breeze catching just the ends of your hair, revealing a statement earring. It reads polished in photos and beautifully relaxed in motion. And by placing the ends right at the chin, not a millimeter lower. The focus stays on the upper half of your face, where your expression is most alive. Helen Mirren's silver French bob is one of my favorites. It's chic, timeless, and proves that elegance at 60 plus comes from proportion and softness, not just color. A viewer once told me she kept changing shades. The moment she changed shape, her compliments doubled. If you want to try it this week, here's the phrase for your stylist. Please shape the ends to curve inward at the chin, add subtle texture for movement, and part slightly to the side. That side part can soften your overall look and create more lift on the fuller side. If short still feels too bold, don't worry. The next option keeps some length while adding built-in motion that changes how your hair behaves from the first wash. Some women keep their hair just past the shoulders, thinking it's safer than going shorter. But if the cut is blunt, it can actually weigh fine hair down. Result? The outline reads as one straight panel, and panels don't sparkle, they absorb. That's where the textured lob comes in. It skims the shoulders rather than hugging them, and the magic is in the micro layers, so subtle you barely see them, but you feel the difference. Those micro shifts create a gentle cadence. Even a small head turn sends soft ripples through the outline. This isn't about chasing volume. It's about motion that reads as vitality. Imagine stepping outside after a light morning mist. Your hair settles naturally, not in one solid sheet, but in gentle shifts that make it look fuller. Or dressing up for an evening out, where those same layers catch and release light like silk in motion. That's the beauty of this length. It plays well both ways. Instead of a sharp edge at the shoulders, you get a softened finish that feels quietly romantic. Many women pair it with their natural silver, which adds depth and dimension without feeling forced. One woman told me people noticed her glow before they noticed she'd embraced silver. The cut made it look deliberate, not default. If you're trying it this week, tell your stylist, I'd like a shoulder skimming lob with soft, invisible layers for movement, but keep the ends solid enough to avoid fraying. At home, a quick mist of sea salt spray and a bit of finger styling will bring that texture to life without heat. Ready to nudge the energy up a notch? The next cut uses asymmetry to lift the eyeline and lighten the lower face without losing softness. Some women shy away from short hair because they fear it will feel too severe, or worse, boyish. I understand that hesitation. But here's what surprises many women. The softness you want often shows up more when you remove the extra weight. That's the genius of the asymmetrical pixie. One side stays longer, brushing just to the cheekbone, while the other is neatly tucked to show off the jawline. Those opposing lengths create a diagonal line, and diagonal lines are visual lifters. The result? Your eyes and smile become the focus, without the cut feeling hard or stark. I once met a woman who'd worn shoulder-length hair for 35 years. She finally tried a long pixie on a whim and told me, I feel like my jawline came back from vacation. That's the power of shifting where the hair ends. You can tuck the shorter side behind your ear and let the longer fringe sweep forward, instant polish with a hint of mystery. It's also one of the most forgiving cuts as it grows out, because asymmetry hides the awkward stages. Jamie Lee Curtis has long been a pixie advocate, but your version doesn't have to be that short. There's a softer entry point. If you're curious, here's what to say in the salon. I'd like a longer pixie with one side cut to the cheekbone and the other cropped shorter for asymmetry. At home, a pea-sized dab of texture paste on the longer side will keep it piecey and playful, while the cropped side stays sleek. And if you think short styles can't feel breezy or romantic, wait until you see the final cut. It moves like air and plays beautifully with natural waves. Sometimes it's not about going shorter or adding more layers. It's about how those layers are cut. Too much razoring or heavy layering can make mature hair look frayed, especially when strands are already finer. The wrong kind of texture can read as wear instead of style. That's why I love the soft shag for women over 60. It starts its face framing right at the cheekbone, so you get lift without losing length. The ends are feathered enough to move, but not so much that they lose their edge. Think of it as editing a photo just enough to bring out detail, without changing the subject. The crown is kept light and airy, so the cut falls into place even if you let it air dry. On busy mornings, you can walk out the door with a tousled, breezy finish that looks intentional. One woman told me her silver waves suddenly looked thicker, not because she added anything, but because the cut let each strand stand apart. Think of Andy McDowell's silver shag. Relaxed but polished, casual yet confident. If you want to try it this week, tell your stylist, I'd like a cheekbone-length face frame, feathered ends, and a light crown. Please add subtle lowlights for depth, but keep my natural silver as the main color. This adds dimension without heavy upkeep. And there you have it. 5 haircuts, each one designed to flatter in its own way. Structure at the crown, curves at the chin, movement at the shoulders, lift through asymmetry, and the airy texture of a well-cut shag. The takeaway? Pick the shape that works for your lifestyle, aim for gentle motion, and let the lines fall where they naturally lift your features. It's less about chasing youth, and more about letting your face have the space and light it deserves. I've heard from so many viewers who've tried one of these and said they felt recognizably themselves again, but with more energy in the mirror. And next week, we'll go deeper into color, how to keep silver luminous, when to blend tones, and a subtle highlight placement that can make skin look brighter instantly. Before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these 5 calls your name? I love hearing the why behind your choice. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so you don't miss the color guide. It's the companion piece that completes the transformation.